Hello and welcome to another episode of Skolaris Weekly. I'm your host, Martin Klemsa. In today's episode, we are going to explore the timetable screen. So I'm just going to go through some options, such as the visual settings and optimization settings, and show you what everything is good for. So let's start with the optimization settings. Sorry, the visual settings. So at the top here, you have options to turn on and off the panels on the top of the screen. So if your timetable doesn't fit the screen, this is how you can make it fit. If you don't need to see your fitness and your filters at all times. Also, some people, many people actually, prefer to see the days on the x-axis and the periods on the y-axis. So if you just toggle this button, your days will go from top to bottom chronologically. And together with that, you can reduce the height of the tiles. So now your timetable can fit in, for example, in case you have many periods in your days. There's another option below, which is to visualize breaks between periods. Again, some schools have a fixed lunch in their timetable, and there's a larger gap between the lessons in the middle of the day. So if you want to visualize that, you just turn on this setting, and Skolaris will calculate the gaps between the lessons based on the actual time that elapses between those lessons. So you can see there's a 20-minute break here, whereas the other breaks are only 5 minutes long. So this one is 4 times as big. I'm going to switch to my favorite view, which is periods from left to right. And also I'm going to turn off the period visualization. And the next two options can make the timetable smaller if there are many free periods. So for example, if I collapse empty columns, I'll be able to inspect the actual lessons of this class group in a larger view. Let's switch to a different organization for the moment, because I want to demonstrate the next option, which is to unfold the option blocks. So this is a typical English school with a lot of option blocks and bands like 07x Maths, 07x P, and so on. So if we want to visualize the individual lessons, we just need to turn on the unfolding option for the option blocks. Let's do that, and we can see what all those option blocks consist of. We can see the teachers who teach the lessons, we can see the rooms that are assigned, and also the subgroups that form the teaching groups that attend those lessons. Let's also increase the tile height a little bit. The option block on Thursday morning is interesting because it shows how doubles are combined with single lessons quite easily in Skolaris. And if you want to move these lessons around, then we recommend just turning on the folding, and now we can turn on, now we can move around the options together. We don't have to move single lessons. So there are more options concerning the lesson tiles. We can turn on and off the teacher display, the room display. We can also choose to show the teaching group. You can see that these do nothing for the folded options. That's because there are many teachers and many teaching groups involved in an option block, so I'm gonna have to unfold to actually see those teaching groups and see these options have some effect. Also interesting options are the coloring. Sometimes when creating the timetable, people prefer to see the teacher color instead of the subject color. So we can turn off the subject coloring. So now our timetable is gray, and apply the teacher coloring, which gives us the idea of when each teacher meets this particular class group. If we are funky enough, we can leave both turned on and have this nice rainbow display, which is probably not very useful, but maybe for some visual demonstration. There are not many timetabling pieces of software that can do that. Can also, if we're looking at a teacher timetable, especially, let's find a teacher timetable. So here, if we apply the class group color, apart from everything else, we are able to distinguish which class group meet this teacher for particular lessons. You can see some lessons are colored, rainbow colored. That's because these are option blocks and students from different class groups meet in these lessons. So all the colors of the involved class groups will be shown in the lesson tile. If you want to also apply the subject color, that is perhaps a little bit more useful in the teacher view than in the class group view, because then we can distinguish that it's red on the top, it's ethics, and if it's yellow, it's history. Let's switch these off to get rid of the rainbows and see the labeling options. So instead of the subject codes, we can see the names by using this option. We can also show the class group names instead of the codes. I think here the codes are actually the same as the names, so the option doesn't have any effect. And also the same for subgroups. You might be wondering if it's possible to turn off the orange and red bars which appear when a constraint is broken. It is possible, and we can do that just by turning off this one. So maybe for printing out a screenshot, this one looks better than the one with the constraints turned on. We can also remove the timetable filter from the constraints. Well, the timetable filter is the teacher at the moment. If we turn it off, we'll be able to see all the constraints concerning a particular time slot. So not many use cases for this one, but maybe we want to see a broader picture at some point, and this is how to do that. Let's undo the changes, and let's go back to a class group timetable. So these are the visual settings. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Bye.